Text 24 of this chapter 23 describes how Indra returned to heaven. Indra brought Vamanadeva or Upendra, another name for Vamanadeva is Upendra, to heaven to be with him. Because Upendra means brother, another Indra. Because the father of Indra is Aditi and Kasyap, and the father of Vamanadeva is Aditi and Kasyap, so they're brothers. Prapya Tri Bhuvanam Chandra Upendra Bhuja Palita Shriya Paramaya Justo Mumude Gata Sadvasa. Upendra Bhuja. Indra, the king of heaven, being protected by the arms of Vamanadeva Upendra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, regained his rule over the three worlds, was reinstated in his own position, supremely opulent, fearless, and fully satisfied. Vamanadeva has different names: Upendra, Urukram, Trivikram. Bhagavatamrita describes something about this Upendra. We can examine that. This is part 1, Bhagavatamrita, chapter 1, verse 76. Apabhyo yamaso rakshan parshiyan yena vistritam sakshat svi kurute pujam tadvet vetsi tam utaparam. Lord Vamanadeva encourages Indra by shielding from dangers and accepting in person the elaborate worship Indra offers. But of course you already know this, and much more. Tikam. Vamana is not Indra's brother only in theory. He acts as a younger brother should, allowing Indra the pleasure of taking care of him. Indra insists on worshipping Vamanadeva as God, but Vamanadeva reciprocates by gracefully accepting the offerings in person. Vamanadeva is protecting Indra and also accepting the worship. Also in the second chapter, verse 5, there's some other discussion. Translation, part 1, chapter 2, verse 5, Brihad Bhagavatamritam. Lord Vamanadeva loudly assured Indra that he need not be afraid of the demons, Daityas. Kirti Devi offered Lord Vamanadeva a betel nut, which he gracefully accepted and chewed. When Narada was visiting Indraloka, he saw the demigods worshipping Lord Vamanadeva in Indra's assembly hall. The Lord's mother, Aditi, held his soft hands and cared for him in various ways. The Lord told Indra not to fear the Daityas, for the Lord would protect him, if necessary, by killing all the demons. At that time, Vamanadeva raised his right hand, lotus hand, in the Abhaya Dan Mudra, gesture of fearlessness. Vamana's wife, Kirti Devi, lovingly offered some betel nut, which she had carefully prepared. He happily took it between his thumb and first finger and elegantly placed it in his mouth. So Kirti Devi is the wife of Lord Vamanadeva. Lord Vamanadeva is the most important resident of heaven. So here Lord Vamanadeva is showing his supremacy, but he's revealing his favor toward Indra by accepting his worship. The greatness of Indra, he has greatness spiritually and materially, because the Lord of all lords became his brother, born from the same womb. The Lord accepts the inferior role of his younger brother, Upendra, teaching the rules of behavior by his own example. Vamanadeva is showing how a younger brother should respect his elder brother. Lord Vamanadeva submissively does what Indra tells him. Shukadeva concludes this chapter with the Fal Shruti Shlokas, with 3 Fal Shrutis. or benediction shlokas, blessing shlokas. Chapter 23, text 28. Sarvam etan maya kyatam bhavata kulanandana rukramasya charitam Shrotrinam agamochanam. This is the boon or blessing that one gets by hearing this chapter or this discussion. O Maharaj Parikshit, said Shukadev, pleasure of your dynasty, I have now described to you everything about the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vamanadev. Urukram Charitam. Urukram Charitam. Urukram is one who does amazing activities. Another name for Vamanadev. Trivikram, Upendra, Urukram. Those who hear about this Urukram Charitam, or Charita, are certainly freed from all the results of sinful activities. So hearing about Urukram Charita, the activities and lilas of Vamanadev with Bali Maharaj, such hearing of the Lord's activities will vanquish the results or reactions of all sinful activities. Agamochanam. Aga means sin. Agasura was the embodiment of sin. Big snake attacked Krishna and Vrindavan. Agasura. Agamochanam. One will get free or liberation from all sins by hearing this Leela. Text 30 is Fal Shruti number 2. Ya idam devadevasya harer adbhuta karmana avataranucharitam shinvan yati param gatim. Shukadev assures Parikshit, if one hears about the uncommon activities, adbhuta karma, Hari adbhuta karma, Hari adbhuta karma, adbhuta, amazing karma, amazing, incredible, astonishing, astounding activities of Hari. If one hears about the uncommon activities, the wonderful activities of Hari, the Supreme Personality of God in Vamanadev, in his various incarnations, he is certainly elevated to the higher planetary system, or even brought back home, back to Godhead. It says, Shrinvan Avataranu Charitam. The Anucharita. Avatar Anucharita. The activities or life teachings and activities and pastimes performed by Krishna's different incarnations. Yati Paramgatim. He goes to the supreme perfection, goes to the supreme destination, Paramgatim, topmost goal, destination. Yati Paramgatim. He goes to the supreme perfection. What is that Paramgatim? Going back home, back to Godhead. Fal Shruti number 3 for the Vamanadev Leela. Kriyamane karmanidam daive pitri tamanushe yatra yatranu kirtiyeta tattesham sukritam vidu. Whenever the activities of Vamanadev are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please demigods, one's forefathers, and Pitri, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, that ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. So Kriyamani Karmani, or Kriya Karma, some karmakandic activity. There's 3 types of Kriya Karma. There's Daivik Karma, Manush Karma, and Pitri Karma. 3 kinds of ceremonies. Daivik Karma, and all 3 of these ceremonies, either demigods, men or ancestors, deceased ancestors or relatives in Pitriloka. The higher beings, the devas, the Pitris, the previous ancestors, and the earthly residents, Manush. There are three kinds of ceremonies. Daivic karma, or ceremonies to please God or the demigods. And then Manush karma, marriages, birthdays, social celebrations. This is Manush karma. And Pitri karma means activities and yajnas and pujas and shrad and pind to please the forefathers, ancestors. Large amounts of money are spent for these activities, but it's suggested here that along with all of that and all the pujas and rituals and rites, there should be recitation of this wonderful Brahman Lila. And if that is done, then certainly these Daivic karma, Manush karma, Pitri karma ceremonies will be carried out successfully, will be free of all discrepancies. So there's some more discussion of Bali Maharaj and Brihad Bhagavatamritam. Amradev's Abhirbhav Titi Mahotsav ki jai. Bali Maharaj ki jai. In the 9 limbs of devotion described by Srila Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Rasa Samrita Sindhu, the last one is Atma Nivedanam, surrendering everything to the Lord, an example of a devotee or one who became perfect, attained spiritual perfection by performing this lima bhakti, or this activity, is none other than Bali Maharaj. He gave his body, mind, words, universe, everything he had, he offered it at the feet of Vamanadev. By this he attained spiritual perfection. Shri Vamanadev ki jai.